Swarm is a PvE builder style game mode, where every time you start a new round, you'll always gain something from it. Whether it's new upgrades, gold, a passive slot, a new champion, or even more. The best thing about the game mode is that you can either play by yourself solo, or with up to 3 extra people. You have the option of 2 champions initially, but eventually you'll have the choice of having at least 9. There are also 3 different difficulties, starting at standard, then hard, then extreme, with another choice of 4 different maps, starting at the warehouse district, the outskirts, subterranean lab, and the beachhead, each with their own unique ability to help the player. While in the game lobby, you can see objectives and upgrades. Objectives are side quests you can do during a run to unlock something new, whether it's in-game missions, new weapons, rerolls, or more. As you can see, when you first do a run, you want to survive for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, and 15 minutes. And then once you unlock Bladerang, you want to get it to level 2 to unlock the ability haste passive. Upgrades. These are what you use the gold you collect on. Often unlocked by completing objectives, each upgrade increases a base percentage of a stat in-game, helping you in future runs. While in game, if you hold tab, you can see a legend in the top left. This shows what weapons and abilities synergize with what passive to help you evolve the ability and make you even stronger. As you can see up here, the Meow Meow, Jinx's base ability, comes under ability haste, alongside Lioness's Tempest and Uwu Blaster. Alternatively, you can also hover over the ability in your hotbar, and in the description, next to evolve in purple text, it'll tell you what passive you need to evolve it. If you already have a weapon or passive, and you get a card that will synergize, at the bottom of the card, it'll show a little box with the passive and an arrow going upwards, representing that you'll be able to evolve this with this item or ability. There isn't too much you can do to cut corners, but there was a few strategies I found that help a lot when playing solo or with friends to minimize loss. One of the greatest things I found is that if you wait until you're level 6 and have your ult, so you'll have an ability on E, which will be your main ability, and then your ult, like normal game, right? If you wait until your ult to do a Yumi quest, it'll minimize the risk of dying. It will help you guarantee a more likely chance to finish the quest and actually get that card to help you boost forward in the game. This also applies to Bel'Veth trials. If you have Bel'Veth trials, you really want to wait until you have your ult, especially since a lot of the trials are very hard. Sometimes you're chained or have to stay in a circle being swarmed by bruisers, or sometimes you have to defeat a boss, and having your ult is just really handy and just waiting for it off cooldown. Another thing I found is whether you're playing solo, I'd recommend playing Xayah or Briar. They're 2 of the best champions to play solo. If you're playing with friends, there are champs that scale and really need scaling, like Aura or Riven or like Yasuo. And then Riven and Yasuo are really strong once they scale, especially Yasuo if you've seen his build. But I highly recommend always taking at least a Briar in any of your missions. So the final thing I found is really helpful is focus on getting all your passives, but keep them level 1 as much as possible. If you have a level 1 passive and you don't need it leveled up, like max health on Malawi or area size on Briar, try and focus on getting all level 1 of your weapons or abilities and try and level them up, because the sooner you can get them high level and evolved, the sooner you're going to do way more damage and have way more impact in the game. Now, when it comes to builds, I highly recommend you learn what's actually good on your character and what synergizes well with the passives, what passives work well on your character, with what items work the best. And don't always try to get the same build. You can have different builds and have the same outcome. Thinking about the meta, it doesn't really matter. Just find a build, find weapons that are good. But in the meantime, if you're struggling and you just want to find a build that people know is good with good passives, you can look up Swarm build and then the champions. So I'd say I'm going to look up Briar. Put that into Google or your taskbar, it doesn't really matter. Press enter and u.gg, the top one that will come up, click on that. And as you can see, it'll have all the best builds that people have found that they like. And then up the top here, you have all builds, solo builds, tier list, and then each separate character. So say I want to play Alawi the next game, it'll come up with Alawi builds, and then all this stuff. It's really helpful, really good for learning the beginning of the game, and I'd recommend giving it a check it out if you're interested. So the final thing I want to talk about to finish up this video is mentality. You'll see a lot of people in Summoner's Rift with a bit of a poor mentality. They'll blame their teammates, they'll make excuses, they may have played well in the game, but always focus on improvement. And what I want to say is, for Swarm, you're gonna die, you're not gonna always win. You're in a builder game mode, you need to farm, you need to lose. It's all gonna happen, just like Summoner's Rift. And what you gotta understand is, I think the game mode's a lot of fun, and the only reason I'm having so much fun is I'm not getting frustrated when I die. The rounds are pretty short, they're a lot of fun, and it's like, I just focus on, I got 2,000 gold that run, I got 4,000 gold, I got 6,000 gold. That's going to help me in future runs, and that's going to help me when I start really trying to do extreme, because I've got the final difficulty unlocked by playing solo.